Welcome, lovelies, to another episode of Seeded Fruit. I am your host, Tiana Wright, and we are jumping right into another sensitive subject, something that I believe plenty of women worldwide will be able to relate to. So for many years, I was unable to have a orgasm through penetration. And it was all because I was molested as a child, beginning at the age of 4. And the most vital time, the most detrimental, the most sensitive period for anyone's life is conception until the age of 7. We are like sponges, we are blank slates. So anything that happens to us is really kind of the foundation of how the rest of our lives will go until we seek help to get it fixed. Well, anyway, at the age of 4, I was having adult experiences, and an older man who was a friend of the family would come pick me up from my grandmother's house and take me to get ice cream, and then take me to his home and take off my clothes, and he would rub his penis against my clitoris. Now again, I told you I was age 4. So my mind, my subconscious mind, my muscle memory, everything in me is recording this as pleasure. This is my first sexual experience, so this is how it is supposed to happen. Everyone knows that when an adult is doing something to a child that they have no business doing, that they scare them into silence, okay? And so this happened several times before I came forward and said anything, and that's only because he had rubbed and rubbed my clitoris so much. He had broke the skin. And I was sitting at my grandfather's house when I had to use the restroom, and I started crying while I was peeing because the pee was burning me because my skin was broken. And my aunt had busted in there into the bathroom, and she's like, Tiana, what's wrong? And I'm like, it hurts. And she's like, oh my God, has somebody been touching you? And I was hesitant because, again, I was scared into silence. And she just kept begging me to tell me. She was like, please tell me, is somebody touching you or somebody doing something to you? And I told her yes, and then I told her who it was. And then I remember my grandmother getting on the phone, and she called a man, and she had some words with him, and he disappeared. I never saw him again. However, the effects of what he did to me didn't disappear. So years are going by, and I've been molested several more times through, other family members and friends, cousins, things like that. I don't know. It just was on me. And all of that stopped at the age of 10, the very last time that it happened. It was a cousin, and I told on him immediately, honey. And my aunt beat the brakes off him. Like growing up black, black mothers will say, I beat the skin off of you, I knock you in the next week. And honey, she did all of that. She beat that boy so bad it didn't make no sense. His skin was peeling off of him. He was bleeding, and she called me in. She called me in to look at him, to even further humiliate him, to let him know, like, this is not something that you do to anyone, let alone, your cousin. And honey, he never touched another woman again. I mean, literally, he never touched another woman again. I guess he said, honey, ain't no punani worth me getting beat like that. So years later, I'm still not able to achieve, when I really am now supposed to have this adult experience of having sex. I can't have sex. I mean, I can't achieve my orgasm through penetration, not even knowing why, just thinking, oh my God, something is wrong with me. Probably like every other woman who can't, achieve an orgasm through penetration. Now, I'm definitely not saying that this is every woman's story, but it's my story. And it may help another woman. So for years, honey, I'm praying, I'm pleading, I'm crying, I'm meditating, I'm lighting candles, I'm lighting incense, baby. I'm doing it all because, see, I want my healing. I know that I'm supposed to have an orgasm through penetration. Like, why can't I have one? It's just unreal, and it's very uncomfortable and a little bit embarrassing when you're married. Child, I was married, and my husband, I couldn't have an orgasm through penetration with him. It always had to be clitoral stimulation, you know, of some sort. And to have to give a damn dissertation, like, for the first few times of it happening, because I need my lover to feel like I'm satisfied, because I would be. Now, I would be satisfied sexually, but the evidence of it, which most people, you know, evidence a good time is having an orgasm, I just wasn't having that, you know. So me having to give a whole speech like, babe, no, I promise, I liked it, I enjoyed it, you were phenomenal, you were great, I liked when you did this part, I liked we were in this position. I mean, come on, honey, like, that gets tiring, and nobody wants to keep hearing that. Nobody wants to keep, honey, I didn't want to keep having to do that. So anyway, years are, you know, going by, and I'm still just trying to, hell, I can't even concentrate on the act itself because I'm trying to make sure that I'm in the right frame of mind. Like I'm trying to meditate in the process of it, so I can't even really enjoy it. But anyway, honey, let's fast forward to 2016, because this is the part that I really, really need and want you to hear. I was coming out of my office building, and right before I hit the door, I saw that there was a hypnotist in the office. So immediately, baby, I walk into her office, because one thing about me, I'm going to get my healing however I need to get it. If I need to travel out of town to the Bahamas, if I need to go to Arizona to speak with a guru or a spiritualist, honey, I'm about to do it. So anyway, I walk into her office, and I'm talking to her about my situation and what I would like to do. And she explained to me that it would be $175 per session with a minimum of 6 sessions. So baby, I pull out my checkbook and I'm starting to write it out. And she stops me and she's like, no, she's like, let's just wait till your first lesson, your first session, you know, to take care of all of this. So I'm looking at her like, what, you turning down a bag? Because baby, I was finna cut the check, right? I don't play no games. And so I got home, and what I later found out, that was just probably my inner spirit stopping me from spending all that money, because we was about to heal myself. We were about to heal my body myself. My body was about to heal itself without having to pay somebody to do it. So anyway, later on that night, that day, I just stood there. Like, it was quiet in my home, and that was just a moment with me, my inner spirit, and just everything in the atmosphere. And I remember just standing there, just flat-footed, with intensity in my voice, and I just began to say how much I deserved to have an orgasm through penetration, that I was worthy of it, that no one else in the world was more qualified than me to have one. I just began to repeatedly speak these things, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I knew I was putting it out there into the atmosphere, right? And let me tell you, the very next time that I laid in that bed with Bae, and we were doing the adult things that you do when you're in bed with Bae, honey, the only way that I can really explain this to where you can get a vivid picture of it is to tell you like this. Have you ever, I think everybody was probably bad when they were kids, right? And so right around the 4th of July, you would take and you would light a pack of firecrackers all at the same time, and it would just pop off like that. Well, that's what was happening. That is what was happening inside of my body, and it was scaring the mess out of me because I didn't know what it was. I had never experienced that before, And so it was a little scary. It was pleasing and terrifying at the same time, because my body is just, it's just shaking, it's moving, it's all over the place. And so when we were done, I had to sit on the edge of the bed and gather myself. I absolutely did. And I heard this voice say, I will restore to you the years that the locust stole from you. And baby, let me tell you how excited I got, because listen here. The locusts have been stealing from me for years. Do you hear me? So I got so excited and full of joy to hear that it was at that moment. I believe it was at that moment of me standing there, very intensified, you know, just saying how much I deserved it, saying how much I was worthy of it. Something in my mind, something in my body clicked. It was in alignment, because honey, after that, honey, they just come like this, one right after the other. And let me explain to you, every single one feels like you lighting the whole pack of firecrackers at one time. And that happens 3-4 times in the whole session. Every single time. Do you hear me? I'm talking about every single time. So Bay, of course, is beating his chest like he should. Like he's so proud, honey. He the man. He is King Kong in here. Do you understand me? And he should absolutely feel that way. But baby, listen, that was so phenomenal for me. Like, this thing is so sensitive now. I'm talking about upon insertion, it happens. So I never remember now the days that I couldn't have them, that I couldn't achieve them that way. And me, probably like everyone else, every other woman who doesn't, will probably blame it on the man, or, you know, take on the stance, oh my God, what is wrong with me? But there really was something wrong with me. Like, that experience jaded me. It had a lasting effect on how the rest of my sexual life was going to go. And again, this isn't everybody's story, it's mine. But if you were molested as a child and you can't have orgasms through penetration, that might be the reason. I'm not saying it is, but it might be. And this is how my body healed itself from that situation. And, you know, one of the things that I had to do, and so of course I had to, you know, go in and, you know, forgive my past, forgive the man that did it. And it wasn't a situation where I had to be sitting in front of him, you know, to be able to do it. I'm not one of those kind of persons, because, honey, listen, I wanted my healing more than I wanted the chance to sit in front of and confront my abuser, the perpetrator, or whatever, and ask them why. Because me asking them why was never going to change anything. It was never going to heal me. It was never going to be able to hurt me, because there was never going to be a answer that they would ever be able to give that was going to satisfy me. Because they could have came back with, well, Tiana, when I was younger, somebody humiliated me. And I would come back with another question like, what you mean? Well, if that happened to you, why would you do it to me? So it was going to be continuously ongoing. Baby, I wanted my healing more than I wanted the sympathy that came from me telling this story. So I never told it before, especially before my healing took place, my miraculous healing took place. Because I don't care about anybody's sympathy, because that's not going to help me. That does nothing for me. So, you know, I never shared it. And the one time that I shared my entire testimony, the feedback and not the feedback, but the reaction that I got from the individual just let me know that I was going to keep it to myself up until today. Sometimes I don't like people's reactions, because they have this thing where they'll try to tell you, you know, about your testimony, or they'll try to change it up for you. So their reaction was, well, Tiana, you just ain't had nobody hitting it right. And I'm like, shit, I know you lying, because, honey, anyway, that was definitely not the reason, because it definitely was somebody hitting it right. But, you know, because of my earlier experiences with it, it caused something to happen again in my body and my muscle memory. And so that played a part in it, honey. But now today, I have no problems. I have no issues. I have no concerns. One of the things that I had to do was also understand and realize, and this is just my own personal thing. I know that when I was created, that God gave me every single thing that I was ever going to need to live on this planet. I'm talking about my gifts, my talents, my anointing, my sauce, my everything that makes Tiana. Tiana was given to me at birth. So this little teeny tiny body that is days old, that is months old, that is just a year old or 2 years old, I had everything that I was ever going to need, that God wasn't going to give me anything else, but that what I had would be cultivated. I know one thing for certain and two for sure. I have a magnetic spirit. People are attracted to the spirit of me. And so because a lot of times people don't know what to do with their emotions when they are drawn to someone, and most of the time it's sexual. Oh my God, he's so fine or she's so fine. I just want to touch him. I just want to rub him. I want to kiss on him. I want to hug him like it's something physical. And so that's just what was happening. I mean, hell, God just gave me too much sauce, baby. And as my perpetrator, the abuser, whatever it is that you want to call him, and he couldn't resist himself. Not to say that he was right for doing anything that he did, because he wasn't. But for me, this is what I told myself in my mind, and how I got around to being able to get to the point to where I had to forgive him. Because I'm not going to hold on to anything, any unforgiveness that's going to keep me from any blessing or any joy in my life for the sake of, you know, someone else, or being mean or being mad. I know unforgiveness only hurts me, because the person that you need to forgive or should forgive, honey, don't give a damn whether you forgive them or not. And I learned that early. So, you know, I had to come up with my own analogy of why. And that was just it. And so, you know, I'm sharing all of this with, oh my God, the world today. Like, this is again, this is another major one for me, because honey, everything in my life is G14 classified, and 99.9% of people don't have security clearance for it. But I am sharing this with you because I love you, because I know that there's at least another woman or two that can heal for me sharing this. And Seeded Fruit is also about providing safe places for people to heal. Like, if I have to get transparent to be able to share something with someone that is going to help heal them, honey, I'm going to do it. And, you know, again, I'm here for you. I stand transparent, sharing these life experiences with you, holding your hand if need be. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.